Assalamualaikum guys. So in this video we're gonna study about the C++ structure, C++ input output and its operators and what is the concept of variable in C++ programming language. So first of all, here it is written the structure of C language where we are going to program our code. So first here we have included the IOStream. IOStream is a library file where the instruction of their statement command is been written. So if we don't include them, so how would the program know what the cout means? So for the usage of these commands, we have to include these statements, these library files. So here we have included within angle brackets. So later here you can see the C++. Uh, uh, we have attached namespace as std standards. Standard is the uh, uh, standard belongs to IOStream. So cout namespace is std and std belongs to IOStream. So here we have to use if I'm gonna add C in statement then add a variable. So what I have to use is std at the start of it to make it clear that C in function is belongs to IOStream. So um, to avoid this, we're gonna declare it here. Let's say it using name namespace std. So when we are using namespace std here, so we do not need to include it here. Okay, so this is the basic structure. And what this int and main mean? Main is the main function of program. Let me say there is a float prc and percentage function. So here there are two functions in our program, in our code, but the main and the uh, percentage. But which one is going to run execute? The main function will be executed because it's the main function, the central function of our code. So that's not the stuff if we say this is at the first and this is at the second. So uh, this will be executed later. That's not the case. So let's use it here. Okay, so we have mentioned the floats function at the top, but where our code is to be started is execution will start from the main function. The curly braces says that this is the body of main function, and from here to here it is the main function which will be run, and this function will be called in main function somewhere where we have needed ps percentage. Okay, so we can call it here by its name. So let's remove it and as we say okay, so here we have the main structure of our code, and in this curly braces we're going to code it. So let's write some code. Cout, we are C++ programmers. So what the code is? Cout is a statement or a command that tells you to output this the number of characters written in quotation on the output screen. So these are printed on the output screen. We have used two statements. Let's make it a simple. So first this will be printed and then control is just at this point and next will be printed, but we want it to print on the next line. So what we're going to use it here, uh, line statement. Line statement is a statement that tells the program to move the cursor from at the next line. So this will be printed on the next line. So the code is just and we don't need these spaces anymore. So okay, so this verse and statement does. We need to add an insertion, these angle brackets, to show that this and this is separated. So if we're gonna add something else like this is a separation, so we're gonna add this. So let's run this and see what the output would be. So we have created this all two line of output on one line by separating the statement with insertions. Okay, so let's turn to our concept. So this was our output function that prints our results on the output. Okay, so let's talk about input function. C out was for C output function and C in is for C input function. This is a
It has a program to take input from the user, any value. We have to mention what the value is. Let me say integer age. Age is a value that will be input from the user. So let me say it C out. Okay, so let's run the program. What's gonna happen? 1 5, and what would be printed? 1 5 as the what we have printed, what we have given to computer is input, and we input the 15 and he outputted the 15. Let's do some insertion here. um, your age. So what we just studied, we can separate two things to output at a line, but here it's want me to input a value. I enter 16 and your age is 16 is been printed here. So we can separate by insertion and we can input the value by the in statement. These are angle brackets towards the right side and these are to the left side. Okay, so these are the input statement. Let's do a bit let's get a bit wider towards the data types. What data types are? In other sense, you look it as videos, audios, movings, images, and etc. Text data, visual data. But in programming language, you have two types of data that could be either text or numeric. Text could be the number of characters, collection of characters, but that numeric would be where we can do some mathematical operation on. Let me say age, and let's input age, and let's do some operation is equal to age plus 5. So let's see out age and let's run it. And try age 1 4 and 2 will 3 will be 5 will be added and this will print 19. So you can perform numeric calculation on numeric data. So there are two numeric types, one with the decimal point or one without decimal point. So let me introduce you to with height variable. So there is a variable that store a floating point value. You cannot store value as 5 or 6 or 7 even when if you are storing it as centimeters, cms. When you are using cms, then you can use it as integer. When you are in feet, you have to use a decimal point to elaborate or to say all the value. So we have to declare it as float. Float is a value where we are dealing with the point. So let me say if I that may be confusion later. Okay, so let's see out scene height and see out your height. So let's run this code and let's enter 145. 5 will be added and what's our height is 5.6. That's our height, 5.6. When we're dealing with points, we have to declare it as float data type. And let's check if we mismatch them. Let me say height, age is float and height is integer. So let's run this. Let me add my height, 5.6. So what just happened? So age is float now. Let me send 41 and it will print 41. uh, let's run again. So it will print 45, and when we're gonna input the height, let's input 5.8. 5.8 I'm gonna add. So what is that happen? 55.6. This is my height. Okay, so let's enter. It will print 55 because it's an integer variable. Integer variable doesn't show a decimal point. It should be 0.6, 0.6, but it wasn't. What was the reason? Because it was belong to the integer data type. So just leave it behind and do some calculations. And then later we're going to move on string data type. So right now, let's create something. Integer, roll number, marks, class, roll number, marks, and total. Okay, I've just declared 3 variables in integer data type, and let's enter. If we're going to calculate the percentage, it won't be in integer. It always be in float with decimal point. Let's declare percentage, float percentage. So let's calculate it. Scene. Let's input roll number, marks, and total marks. Okay, then calculate percentage. Percentage is equal to what will your percentage be? Marks multiplied by 100 divided by total. So let's see out our result. Percentage. Let's add roll number to 31, then marks 44 out of 60, then R, then my percentage is 73. Why 73? Even if we have called it as float, why it is with point like this? So what is different? Because integer stores, integer takes 2 bytes. Okay, so what float takes 4 bytes. So when the size is, this size is less, so when we are dividing them, we are not getting into percentage. So if we are going to percentage, we have to declare it here. There is no typecasting, because when integer are being calculated, then answer will be in integer, whether it is in float. So why to put our value in 4 bytes if they are stored in 2 bytes? So there will be so what we can do it here, 0.0. So now this is float, and they both are integers. So let's see what's gonna happen. So now here it is printing in floating values. Why? Because we have created it as float. So it is a implicit typecasting without letting anyone know the. Okay, so float. We can do it as this type, float. So these both will be now treated as float variables. So let's enter. So what we didn't create it as float, but we made them declare as to be dealt as float. So hope this clears your concept. Now let's comment it out. Comment out the statement that can't be compiled by the compiler, because they are just for the user use. So to remember what the code has inside. So where I made this comment, and this is just to be for the programmer, not for the program, not for the computer, but the user. So let's study another data type, string. String. I say my name is string, first, last, and full. I have declared that I have 3 types of names: first, second, first, last, and full. So let's input first, last, and if we want to combine those stuff, my first name and my last name, what we're going to do it here is just to use plus operator. it can only be with strings, two strings. So let's do it. Full is equal to first plus uh, first, now plus sign, a space and plus and last. Why I made a space? Because there is no space in the words, both words, and when we're going to combine it, we have to put a space with them to clarify what's the first name and what the second name. Made a separation. Let's output it full. So let's run it. I say Jack nobody. So what's the output is Jack nobody. So first name plus space plus second name. So that will be our answer. Okay, so let's step a move forward towards I recommended it down and then gonna take it as let's plus something. We're gonna raise it and do some plus. So let me plus a value plus 2. 2 is a numeric. It's a string. Character and it's a numeric. What would be our what we are dealing with? It is integer variable and it is both our character or string. So here's our first. We can't add 2 to our name. We could only add 2 to a numeric value like this type of. Okay. So let's take it to that for the compiler. So it's gonna run. So in next video we're gonna talk about selection structure, what the if else if and what are the switches. So see you in the next video.